Ugh. Hi everyone. That's how I would have greeted you when I was like 14, when this look would have been appropriate.
Hey! What's up? I'm Raven, your acid bath princess of the darkness.
And I'm Tara.
And we're sitting here in Tara's room, rocking out to MCR.
But today we're doing an emo makeover. So Hipdot sent me their My Chemical Romance collection. Ugh, I don't know why I'm doing that. But people are literally fighting over this. Like, this is like gold. So thank you, Hipdot, for sending me this PR package. I'm super excited to show you guys like how I created this look. If we take a look into the palette, we see it's used. I have all of the colors right here, obviously, because it's in a palette. But we have like reds, purples, grays, white, silver, random muddy browns. It's like perfect. Like, if I looked like this when I was like 14, maybe I wouldn't have had depression. Insert a pic of me like at 14 right here. This is what I thought I looked like in that photo. That's what I thought I looked like. Like, the cognitive dissonance, sis. They also sent a double-sided liquid liner. One of them has like a really fine tip and one of them has like a super thick tip. So I will tell you what I think about that in the tutorial. And they also sent this brush right here. I will say this brush was super easy to work with. It like glided on shadows really easily. And it's like kind of heavy, which I like. I like a brush with a little bit of weight to it because I like to like use the weight to like balance on my hand, if that makes sense. So you'll see how I created this look. Let me know in the comments what you think. Okay. Wait, somebody asked me before if I was emo, and then I was like, no, I was not emo, I was goth. That was true. I didn't like start listening to emo music until like last year. Don't come for me. But I was like very heavy on MySpace, and I had a Vampire Freaks. If you're old enough to remember Vampire Freaks, please comment below. It was a place that children should not be. This is truly what I thought I looked like in high school, so if you want to see me create this look, stay tuned. We're going to go into our voiceover tutorial soon. Again, comment below if you like this like new format of like voiceover tutorials, or if you prefer me to like talk during my makeup. Just let me know what you think. We're trying something different here. We're experimenting. We're growing. And if you want me to do anything in any of the videos, if you have ideas for looks, ideas for things that you want me to do, put them down below. I'm open to suggestion. Let me know if you have any technical tips too. We're still figuring out lighting and camera work and stuff, so if you want more like close-ups, if you want more like product shots, like that kind of stuff, let me know. I'm willing to work with you. So let's get into this tutorial now. Let's take a look at that packaging one more time. So pretty. Hipdot did such a good job. The palette is super cute. It has literally all the colors that you need for alternative looks. And then that eyeliner double-ended with the thin and the thick tip. Hopefully I didn't touch any jalapenos.
Oh my god.
I was trying hard not to. I used a fork for everything.
In Spanish is eyes, ojos.
Ojos.
Los jalapenos.
Wow.
That's how your eyes would look if they came into contact with a jalapeno. Los ojos rojos de jalapenos. And who says extremely limited vocabulary in Spanish is useless?
I'm going to put this in the video.
Oh no.
So everybody can see what you're really like.
To see how I make you suffer?
All of you are about to lose your crush on Mr. Krabs.
Oh no.
There we go.
Yes.
Ah! Do I look like a diamond? Little demon things. Now I'm going to sketch out where I want my eyebrows to go. I'm actually going to try to make them even this time, so pray for me. But I'm doing like the beginning of the eye and then like the edge of like my pupil. So hopefully this works out. Perfect. Now I'm just going to sketch out that shape that I want. I'm using the ABH Dipbrow in the shade Ebony and just like a ColourPop angled brush. Now I'm going to like sketch it out and then fill it in just with the Dipbrow. But I do want it to be a little bit more of an ombre brow, so I'm going to take my e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer, the hydrating one, with a little concealer brush, and I'm going to like use that on the beginning of the brow and just kind of like fluff it out, just so it looks a little bit more like ombre-y. Then I'm going to take Serpent Sun from the palette, which is the black, with a small brush, and press that into the brow just to make it darker and to set it. I'm going to use the concealer with the concealer brush again just to clean up around the bottoms and the tops of the brow. Now I'm going to use the brow pen from ABH. This is the shade Granite, and I'm going to do like realistic hairs to give it more depth. Now I'm going to use the ABH eye primer all around the eye. I tried buffing it out with this concealer brush, but like it didn't really work, so I moved over to a sponge instead, and that's the Hipdot sponge from their Tapatio collection, and I just like bounced it on the eye. Now I'm just packing in Serpent Sun with this MAC brush. I'm just trying to make like more of a rounded shape. The black is super pigmented, so it was like no time. Now I'm going to take a little bit of that red, the Pitchfork Red, with the Hipdot brush that came with the palette in the front. And then in the center of both of those colors, I'm using like that middle tone red Starless Eyes from the palette. And then taking a fluffy brush with Pitchfork Red and buffing it out. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Saints Protector, which is that purple, in the center to blend those two together. And I'm getting a big fluffy brush with Shotgun Sinners on it, which is the gray, to blend out the black. I'm using that red again just to kind of blend those two together. And then I'm taking a really small brush with the color Flock of Doves, which is the white, and I'm using that to highlight under my brow. And I'm taking that fluffy brush again with a little bit more Pitchfork Red, just to blend it into that highlight. I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side, starting with that Serpent Sun color. I'm doing all the same steps. Now I'm taking the ABH eye primer with a concealer brush, and I'm going to cut out a crease. I'm doing kind of like a half crease. I don't know what they're called exactly, but you know the ones. And then I'm like filling it in with that eye primer. So I'm just kind of like stamping it in. Going in with a small brush with Flock of Doves. I'm going to use that as like my inner corner highlight. And then on the lid, I'm packing it on with a Hipdot brush. This is the Silver Explosive Light. It's so pretty. It's like a really, really like shimmery gunmetal color. Then I'm using that MAC brush again and blending in Serpent Sun, the black, just to kind of like make it more ombre. Apple juice. Now I'm taking a little bit more of that white, the Flock of Doves, and kind of like blending it down so it blends better. I'm going to clean up because I didn't realize like how much fallout, so do be careful. I would suggest doing your eyes first. I'm going to add more eye primer to the bottom just because I want to do my bottom first. I'm taking a little bit of the red, this is the Pitchfork Red, on the bottom in the front, and then I'm kind of doing like an ombre, like similar to the top. For the middle part, I'm going to use Saints Protector, so it's like that purpley gray, and then at the ends I'm going to add Serpent Sun to like kind of blend it into the top. I'm just blending like the red and the purple together. And redefining the red a little bit more. Now I'm taking that black Serpent Sun and like meeting it to like the top of the eye. Now I'm going to use the other side of that Hipdot brush with Serpent Sun and just kind of like buff everything out just so it's like super nice and smoky and it doesn't look too harsh. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of Shotgun Sinners on a fluffy brush and just blending everything out further just so it looks like super smoky. Now I'm just taking a little micellar water on a cotton round and I'm just like getting rid of the rest of that eye primer. Now I'm going to use the eyeliner. So try using like the thick side first, and I will say it's really stiff. Like I wish that the felt tip had a little bit more give to it so it'll be a little bit more bendy, but I ended up switching to the thinner side just because I felt like the thin tip would give me a little bit more of a bend, but it's equally as like stiff. I do like dragging my eyeliners a little bit more. So I wish it had like, not a brush tip, but you know, like a flexible felt tip to it. This I just felt was a little too rough. I'm taking a little bit of this Essence gel liner and just like tightlining the top just so we don't have any gaps in the lashes. Now I'm using the NYX white liner to make that waterline. I do want it to go all the way to the end of the eye because I want kind of like more sad, like anime-y eyes. And I like to top that with white eyeshadow. Anytime I use this white liner, I always use eyeshadow on top to help it not crack. And then I'm just like making sure that I don't have any of that white shadow on the lower lash line where we just defined it. And I'm going to add a little bit red, so I'm adding Pitchfork Red on a small brush to like the outer corner of the eye and like kind of like ombreing it in about like halfway to the eye, just so it looks like, I don't know, more like punk rock. And I'm tightlining the black about halfway through the eye with that black gel liner and using a red lip liner from ColourPop, which I'll link down below, on the inner corner of the eye on the waterline. This is like an old theater trick just to make your eyes look like huge. Now I'm just blending it out. Now I'm taking the thin side of that eyeliner and just like sketching out right underneath where we drew that waterline, just so we could put that lash there later. Now I'm taking Maybelline Master Prime all over the face, just a prime, using my favorite Maybelline foundation. I'll link my shade down below, and then all over. And then using that Hipdot Tapatio sponge just to blend everything out. I'm using this concealer brush like on the nose area just so I can get really close to the shadow. And then applying the super light Juvia's Place foundation and the super light Juvia's Place foundation stick, using both of them combined. And I'm just going to be highlighting, and you can tell that it's definitely lighter than my face. I decided to go with more of like a ghoulish pale complexion just so it goes with like my emo fantasy. And just blending that all out super carefully around the eyes and around the forehead area, but I did get a little bit of foundation on my brow, so I'm going back in with Serpent Sun to like redefine it. And then starting to contour, this is the ABH Mink contour stick. This one's like super gray, which I think is going to be great. On my normal complexion, it's a little bit too gray, but for this ghoulish one, it'll be perfect. And blending that out with like a super full coverage brush. This one's from Sephora. And I like to blend down on the jawline just so we can like pretend we're skinny. I'm going to use that sponge and kind of like buff everything out so it doesn't look super harsh, even though that sounds stupid. And I'm using like a little brush just to like blend out the nose contour because I find that the sponge blends it out like too much to the point that you can't see it anymore. And I'm taking that super light foundation that we use for highlight and just bringing it down the nose just so we can highlight, and taking that brush and blending it out. And then blending the top of it, I just pinch my little sponge. Now I'm doing the boop with a tiny, tiny eyeliner brush, just really carefully painting it on with the concealer. And I'm going to take that Juvia's Place stick foundation and just like carve out the cheeks. And then like blend it out. Just so we have a very ghoulish cheekbone. And then powder everything down. I'm using the RCMA No Color powder and like literally like slapping it into my face. I'm brushing away all of the excess powder just so we can add some contour there. And I'm adding a little bit more brow hair with the brow pen just because it didn't look like there was any there. Now I'm using the light to medium contour kit from ABH. I feel like this is a little bit too tan for this look, so I went in with the gray and the dark brown and mixed them together and like made a little bit more of like a gray toned contour, and I feel like that looked so much better. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some powder just to bake. I like to bake around my mouth because I tend to break up there the most. And then I'm doing the same thing with the nose, going in with both of those contour powders. And then I'm taking this really light rosy color from the contour kit from ABH, and then I'm using that around the nose just to like super pinch it in. I got a little bit on the brown part though, so I'm going to brush it away and then redefine the boop again. Then I'm going to go in and kind of like buff out the shadow on the bottom just because the concealer got on it a little bit and I want it to look like really soft. So I'm just taking a little bit of that brush, adding some more color, and then taking some more of the red down the front into the nose contour, and then a little bit more of that gray on the bottom to buff everything out. I want it to look like so soft and smoky. Then I'm taking that red fluffy brush and I'm doing a little bit of blush on the nose. This is the bright red color, the Pitchfork Red, and I'm taking a blush brush from ColourPop and I'm doing it like right underneath the eye. So I'm like adding a bunch of color. It's so pigmented, like you really don't need to add a bunch of color, like it's super pigmented from the get-go. And I'm taking a little ColourPop brush with a little bit of translucent powder and like buffing it out just so we get really smooth edges around the blush. And I'm going to take off all of that excess powder that was baking. Just brush it all away, and I'm going to use the ABH Snowflake Loose Highlighter. I'm spraying the brush with a little bit of Dewy set first just to like wet it, and then dipping into the product and highlighting on the cheekbone. I'm doing a little bit above the lip, on the chin, and then I thought about the nose, but I'm going to take a smaller brush to do the nose. Do the same thing on the boob and like down the center, just to give a little shine. I'm going to take a little bit of the blush and just kind of like buff that highlighter in. Now I'm taking my favorite liquid liner from Essence and I'm going over that eyeliner. I feel like the Hipdot one was too shiny, like not black enough, and wasn't like precise enough because the thing was too like stiff. I'm just going over everything. Now I'm going to do like a little upside down cross going down from my eye. So emo, wow. The most emo. And I also want to do like some super long lashes, so I'm taking it down from like where we drew that bottom of the eye. So I'm just like drawing it down and just making like little long lashes just to make it look really full. A little mascara just to make our eyelashes black, and these are the lashes that I'm going to use. I got the idea to do like a really like outlined cut crease, so I'm taking the Essence liner and I'm making like an outline around the cut crease and then bringing it out. Now I'm going to add my base lashes. These are the lashes that I used for my Halloween look in July. So what I basically did is just stacked a bunch of lashes. For half of that lash, I pressed in a bunch of ABH eye primer, and then on top of that, I packed it in with red eyeshadow, so it had like a half and half look. It's super easy to do. I know there's a bunch of tutorials out there. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit more of that Essence liner and do like the top of those lashes, just in case like any of the clear glue dries white. Now I'm going to go in and redefine my boob with the white eyeliner, just so it can look cute. Now I'm going to line my lips with a black gel liner. This one is from Essence, and just create that shape with the black eyeliner. And I'm also going to fill it in. I find that you get the best Goth black lip if you just like use eyeliner to fill in the whole entire lip before you do lipstick. Now I'm going to take Sugar Pill Liquid Lip in 0, which is the black shade. This is my favorite black liquid lipstick. Like, I will use this all the time. I haven't found a black lipstick that works as well. Now I'm going to take a little bit of concealer on a concealer brush and I'm going to go around the lip and just clean up any areas. Black lipstick is messy, y'all. And I decided I wanted a sparkly lip, so I took the Patrick Star Eye Popper. This is the black one. It has a little bit of a shimmer, and just put that over the lipstick. I took a little bit of the mascara, blended the lashes. And then I did the bottom lashes. These are Porcelain, which are my favorite from Sugar Pill, which you already know. And then I decided that I wanted to do like one red lash in front of those on the bottom, just to make it look more ombre. So I took the edge of a lash and like trimmed it, just a regular everyday lash, and then I pounded it with the eye primer and the red shadow, the Pitchfork Red, and like did one red lash on the very inside. And that's the finished look. I'm going to put on my wig and all of my clothes. And then we transformed! And now I'm emo queen. My bones crack when I do that because I'm old. Okay.
My chemical rheumatoid arthritis.
And this is the final look. I have this black wig that I've worn in like these looks. I'll put like pictures here. But basically what I did is like, don't kill me, Landra, my drag mom, aka Wigs by Tips. But I literally like got some strands of this red wig it's on its way out, okay? It's on its way out. But I literally like cut these streaks out and like bobby pin them in. Because do you guys like remember like they used to sell like the clip-in like highlighted color extensions, like, and they had like the raccoon tail ones. I was about to like paint this, but I was like, let's not go overboard here. But this was a fun throwback. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think of the products. Are you guys like wanting to try this look? Should we tell Hipdot to like keep it in stock forever? Let me know. I'll pass the word along. Thanks for watching this video and stay tuned for the next one.